Hey everyone, welcome to the Rich Point Podcast. I'm Pastor Matthew Peters, and I'm back with Eli. Thanks for joining us again, Eli.
What's going
It's
on?
fantastic. Today, we are talking about doing the next right thing. So a lot of people get themselves into a lot of trouble or have a lot of pain in their life or have a lot of problems, and they're always looking for this superstar moment where they break through or they get the big job or the big persecution goes away or they get the big relationship or whatever it is. And we have come to this conclusion that although big dreams are important and goals are important, what's the best thing we can do?
The next
right thing. Okay,
Yeah.
Eli, talk to me about what's been happening in our lives that we're like, hi God, I'm gonna stop giving you plans.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop telling you what I want to do, and you just start. You take the reins because I don't know. What to do.
Right.
Yeah, that's something I've adapted or adopted pretty lately.
Yeah.
I've never really paid attention to that kind of stuff, so I'm pretty new to it too. This is something that Matt taught me. I've had some unfortunate things happen in the past couple weeks, and it's kind of put some major setbacks personally, and
I mean, just for the audience to understand, I won't share big details, but basically you got screwed.
Yeah.
That someone just asked me what happened to you, and I was like, well, so it was like this. They said this, then someone else intervened, bricked him over, did nasty, did him total dirty, and now he is just out in the wind because of the bad decisions. Hung out to dry.
Yeah.
And these are things, my dad would put it like this. You went through a buzzsaw. It's like the cartoons, Bugs Bunny or whoever. They tie him up and he's on this conveyor belt and the saw is coming and he gets sawed in half.
Right.
And in the cartoons you get put back together, but in real life they just chop you up.
Yep, they do. It's pretty
So
nasty
this is what you went through.
Yeah. And I was kind of struggling on. I mean, everybody juggles the mentality aspect, the depression and, the dumps, I like to call it, when, we go through these tribulation periods. And it's, my biggest thing whenever I get back into this point in my life where, I'm either jobless and I'm not providing for my family, now I'm left to do nothing but monotonous things to keep myself busy.
Right.
I tend to get in this rut. And it's like this depressive episode, and then I start feeling sorry for myself, and I tend to forget God's presence during that time a lot, and I tend to stray away from it. And sitting down with Matt, he kind of brought something up particular to me that I think is very important.
Which is what?
Doing the next right thing.
Yeah, this is so critical.
Yes.
Like everyone wants this to be rocket science. They want it to be really complex. It's like freaking mow your yard.
Yep.
Like clean the kitchen. Do something nice for your family. Think 5 things you're thankful for.
Yeah. I went out and bought my wife a rose. I mowed the lawn, did the dishes, cleaned up the house.
Yep. Feed the dogs.
Fed the dogs. I mean, that's normal. But
you could forget them.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people do.
Yep, that's true.
Animal neglect.
I went on a 4-mile bike ride.
Did you?
Just finding ways to keep a positive outlook on things during the dumps is, I think, the most important thing to do. And taking the initiative to get up during that time, seek God and be like, hey man, I'm going through this tough time. Can you give me something to do?
Yeah.
Hey, show me anything. If somebody wants to talk.
And he does, right?
Yeah.
He totally does.
Yeah. God, what do I need to do right now? Because I'm feeling pretty depressed. Well, the grass looks pretty long. You should go mow it.
Wow.
And it's just kind of, I don't know. I found lately that's where I find him most is when I'm like, God, I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of struggling on, feeling positive, feeling happy. Can you give me something to, 1, seek you, but 2, just feel better about myself? Because I'm not going to progress in my life if I'm feeling like crap.
Yeah.
Nobody will.
One of the things that I have been reminded of, and I have sort of made this a little bit of a life mantra, and I think we talked about it before, but it's worth repeating. We always tend to overestimate what we can do in the short run and underestimate what we can do in the long run.
Right.
And it's like we always are trying to get way more today. Like a lot of us have been in positions where we are without work, or we're facing a crisis in our relationships, or we're facing some kind of problem with people that is just, for the foreseeable future, not going away, or some kind of health crisis, a pain or an illness. And you tend to want to see that resolved. You want to see some big movement in the short run. You want to go 30-yard pass on this one, and basically it's like, here's an idea, get 3 yards on a little run, and what's
that saying? Football games are won by kickers.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like, the 1 point is what makes the difference.
What makes the difference.
Or Super Bowls are won by kickers.
Yeah, they are totally. Yeah. So it's like we're making decisions. I mean, for me this morning, for all intents and purposes, I had a great day. Okay, great day so far. Right, got up before my alarm, got out of bed. Went downstairs, did my routine. Got very far ahead of my work, and but as I started the day, believe it or not, I had no excuse to accept. I had no excuse to feel the way I did, but I kind of was like feeling blah. Like I just didn't want to do my work. I was like, what's going on?
The lazy bug bit you.
Yeah, dude. And I thought, no way. So you know what I did? I said, God, what do you want me to do? And he said, you're not in touch with the love and the thankfulness that you need to be. You've had some really high times, and now you're just like in the daily grind. And I was like, okay.
So now you're comparing, you're like expecting it to be. Yeah.
So here's what I did. I pushed back from my work, and I just started saying all the things I was thankful for.
Yeah. That's something I feel like I don't really do.
But it's a discipline. Because when you first start doing this, you're like, you feel like you're lying to yourself. You feel like you're playing games and stuff. But
I constantly, when I express gratitude, I mean, I know I'm not the only one that struggles with gratitude. I mean,
sure.
It's such a hard thing to recognize. It's like, am I grateful for this drink? I mean, yes, it's a small material item that,
right.
I mean, I could throw it away and forget that I even had it 5 years from now.
Right.
So it's like, I always feel disingenuous. I know that's a weird analogy, but
like disingenuous.
Yes, it's like, and I struggle so hard to show gratitude, but I am grateful for things that truly have meaning in my life.
Well, it's just, I think there's this thing where we're not in touch with it. Right. So I just kept going until, there's this saying, pray until you pray, be thankful until you're thankful. So I just was like listing off, I'm thankful for my dog. I'm thankful for this house that I live in. It doesn't have a leaky roof. Thankful for my wife and my kids. Thank you for transportation. Thank you that the sun is shining today. Thank you that, I don't feel threatened. My life isn't being threatened professionally or physically at this moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was a point just a year ago or two, I was in the hospital bed fearing for my life. Mm-hmm. That was very present problem. Yeah. That is sort of becoming a distant memory. I need to be in touch with that crap. Yeah. So that stuff. So I just said thank you for several minutes and just basically started praising God. And I was thankful until I was thankful. Mm-hmm. And when I finished that, I mean, the whole thing was less than 5 minutes. We're not talking about a huge investment, right? Revolutionized my day. It's like, do the next right thing. And if you can't do the next right thing, get in touch with gratitude. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do that, do something for someone else, serve someone. They talk about every time you give and you serve, an entire chain reaction of positive chemical reactions happen in your brain. You get a dopamine dump. Mm-hmm. I think it's dopamine. I should look that up. I don't think it's serotonin. I'm pretty sure it's dopamine dump. And it's
it's the dopamine.
This is what we need to be doing. We don't need to be solving the world's problems right now. That's an overestimation of what we can get done. And I want to say about you personally and about so many people I've watched. Like I've watched you, like you don't see this, okay? But we are watching you grow. We are watching people, every person that I know, yourself would be a perfect exemplar of this, who begins to have the mindset of I am just going to do the next right thing. I am not going to solve all my problems. I am not going to try to be the epic hero. I am not going to try to figure it out. I'm going to just surrender my life to God, and I'm going to do the next right thing.
Yeah.
And you watch these people, explosive growth.
Yeah.
They don't see it. We see it.
I think I have a hard time, letting go of the reins of my life. I always, of all areas, I try to take control of it and figure out this and that. And lately, I'm just like, God, you can take these. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
I'm not going to drive this thing anymore.
We're going around in circles on a buggy with two wheels. It's not going to work.
So I think a lot of people, when they hear folks say that stuff like that, they think, what the hell do you mean?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you? I think I know what you mean, but what does it mean? Like we're going around and around, and I'm going to let go of the reins. Now, if you were to take that literalistically, if you let go of the reins, you just crash.
Yes.
But you're not crashing.
Jesus, take the whatever the.
You're gonna go carry Underwood on me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
No,
I think.
What does it mean? what does it look like for you?
And if I can just dumb it down, it just comes down to faith.
Okay.
It's like, God, you in the past you've done things for me that there was absolutely no way that I could do this. And it's like, God, I'm just gonna let you take care of it. I trust you. I thank you in advance. You're gonna do what you see fit for me. Yeah. So there's no point in me trying to take the reins and fight over who's driving.
Wow.
And it's kind of it's a little bit of a submission thing. It's a little bit of a pride thing.
Okay.
But it's it's that the rubber meets the road. It's the understanding that you can only get so far by yourself.
So you're basically saying that at this point in your life, you are not going to try to force things, and you're just going to basically do whatever God is showing you on a daily.
Yep.
And that's challenging.
It is. It drives me nuts at times because there's this constant, what am I supposed to be doing? Mm-hmm. I can go out right now and do whatever I want to. I can plan my life out that way, but I always feel, if God has a plan in your life, somehow, some way, you're gonna hit a wall by yourself. Mm-hmm. He's gonna. I feel like he is kind of like a dog on a leash. Like he'll just kind of yank you back if you're going in the wrong direction. And I've had a lot of yanks lately. And for me, it's like, you know what?
How do you determine so this is something.
I don't know am I explaining that well?
Yeah. How do you determine what is God redirecting your life versus, let's just be extreme, satanic attack? So it's like, you pray for something, okay?
I think
you feel like you get it answered.
Yeah.
You have it for a period of time, and then it gets taken away from you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know how have you, maybe you can't, I don't know. How do you look at that?
That's a good question. And I think that's so hard to discern between the two.
What do you think is happening to you now?
I think I'm getting yanked.
You think God is disciplining you?
No, I think it's more like it's more a correction. I feel like I'm on the path he wants me to be, but I'm going off to smell a bush, and I'm taking too long to do this. Okay. Or I got to pee every 6 steps, or I got to go over here.
Using dog illustrations.
Yes, dog illustrations. I have 2 dogs. I love dogs.
Dog walk illustrations.
Yes, dog walk illustrations. Or I want to go chase after the squirrel, and I've been doing it too long, and I'm yanking his arm apart. It's like, all right, come back. Let's focus here.
So I'm laughing about my dog because he does all of these things.
Everybody knows. If you have a dog, that's what they do.
That's what they do.
And it drives you nuts after a while. So
and you're like,
hey,
animal, we're going this direction.
Hey, we're walking this way. Come on.
Let's go.
I say to my dogs, keep it moving. Like that's the thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so I feel like it's more just a correction. I don't think I've done anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I think that
Yeah.
I think having that confidence is why I believe that it's not satanic. It's
Okay.
kind of, you know, man, that's such a tough question to think about. The more I'm going in a rabbit hole in my brain just thinking about it. Like, I mean, what would your answer be to that?
Well, fun fact, I just got a text from someone who wants to network with you, but that's another matter. It's coming through on my Wi-Fi, my Bluetooth on my phone. To ask the question again, please.
Well, you know, if we were to switch it onto you,
yeah,
you know, how would you be able to discern between the two? You know, like, yeah, I had a job for, you know, I thought I was set.
Yeah, that's a really good. I mean, I feel
I was going around telling everybody, hey, God provided me this. He gave me this.
We thought this, right? Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I got blessed with this. This came out of nowhere. It fell in my lap. Had the job for a month and got released.
Well, I think
fired. Let's be honest here. And
but unjustly. Totally unjustly. Like for no reason. For no reason, people.
My skin will turn a tomato red if I think about it.
Well, I can tell you what I have seen in my life, okay?
Yeah.
So you get something that looks perfectly good. You're not doing it for any kind of selfishness. You're genuinely following God in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Then that thing that gets given to you ends up being extremely challenging and difficult, and it might even be toxic or damaging to you. And you think, well, did this not come from God, or is this an attack of the devil? And I think I've seen things in my life where I feel like God deliberately orchestrated things that I misinterpreted in order to grow me, to build me up. And I would never have chosen that path by myself.
It's a test.
Yes. I hesitate to use that word, but you can try with that with me.
There's a better word for it, but I know what
it's like a workshop of sorts. So I never forget there were two really big things that happened in my life, both which were radically confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first was getting my job here at Bridgepoint. So I got the job at Bridgepoint, and let me just be blunt, the first 8 years were living in hell. Yeah. I never had any rest. I felt like I was in a pit of mud, constantly sinking. And if you put me in a truck, I was flooring it and my wheels were just spinning. I was never getting out of that thing. And I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, and I was like, God, what's the deal? And I certainly felt like there were plenty of things that one could say, well, this is the devil attacking you. No, actually, God had some serious business that he needed to do in my life, and I would not describe the totality, the grand picture, the overarching picture of my position here at Bridgepoint as the pastor for the first 8 years that I was here as a satanic attack. I would call it a God-given training ground that was so painful that people thought it was evil.
I call it a godly sorrow.
Yeah.
I want to show you this is why you shouldn't do this.
Oh no, I didn't quite have that. I mean,
for me, that's what it was.
There are things that were underneath all of that, that were like that, where I was given a godly sorrow that led to repentance and changed my life, rather than the devil who just accuses and makes you feel dirty about yourself, which is no good.
Right.
You know, that's. I think the other was sort of the collaborative of the triple threat. I've been calling it COVID, my heart surgery, and the problems that were at our church at that time.
Yeah.
And all three of those things were like a collapse on me. And I thought that they were, I thought, am I being attacked? But I realize now that God actually had and I'm really careful when I'm saying this to other people, and I don't want people to think in a particular way that I don't like this. What am I trying to say? I do not like, I'll finish my thought in a second. I do not like this mentality where people say, oh, all this crap is happening to you. What do you need to learn? It just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, what a sadistic view of the world. that I'm such a royal screw up that God had to give me an international pandemic, a bunch of people that were attacking me, and open heart surgery, even though I lived a healthy life. I ate healthy food. I was the picture of health, right? I did everything I could to be a good pastor, and I tried very hard to understand the nuances of what I ought to be doing properly as a pastor during this COVID crap, okay? And I don't feel like I deserved any of it. And it wasn't like I needed to learn some particular lesson, and because I was such a rebellious, stubborn cuss, that God had to send a curse on me. No.
Right.
But I do believe that he orchestrates things in our life to shape us to be more like Jesus. I'm telling you right now, like, I cannot believe I'm going to say it. I wouldn't trade it at all. I'd do it all over again, exactly the way it happened, because the results were massive fruit in my life, massive growth in my life. Yeah. My life is 10 times better now than it was before my open heart surgery, before COVID, before the problems in our church.
It's definitely cool to see the church grow as exponentially as it has.
People, there were people that are coming in our doors for the second time that came years ago that are walking up to me and going, what has happened to you? What has happened to this place? Right. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, I visited. I'm like, I thought I recognized you. I would never come back. But someone told me something's different. I came back. It's totally different. And I'm like, I can't pinpoint what that is. I just have a sense of it. Well, it is God, but it's just truly. So I'm trying a bit. I feel like we're digressing here. Back to the doing the next right thing. You know, it's like we have these things in our lives, and is it discipline? Is it the devil? I do think that there are things to the devil. So I'll give you a rundown of what it looks like when I think there's a devil. Okay, so just classic. You know, I walked in. I tried to walk out the door to go to church, and I'm like, where are my kids? They're in the shower. You've got to be kidding me. Okay,
it's pretty typical for their age, though.
The kids are in the shower. Okay, and then my phone keeps ringing. All right, and it buzzing, and it's people texting me saying, I'm not coming to church. 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 And I know that they think that this is a good idea because they want to let me know, but like, they don't understand that when I get like 5 of those on Sunday morning, it's like kind of deflating. It's like punching holes in your tires, right? Okay, so then I got that. Then I get to church, and there's complications with things. And then lo and behold, people who said they were going to come didn't come. And I'm like, wow. And then the coup de grace was someone left the door open. Someone propped one of our doors open, and a little kid escaped from his mom and got out into the street.
We were parking at the end of that whole thing, and we were trying to figure it out, and then we found out through the worship leader, and we're like, what?
Yeah, it was a series of things, like not just one thing that happened, but like a prop door, someone thought someone was watching someone else, someone had double duty. Like we're actually having a meeting today to like triage this thing, because we're like, you know, how did that happen? So I had all of these things happen, and now I have to go up and preach.
It's a good time to preach.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't feel like it. Yeah. Because why? Because I'm so frustrated, and I just like, it dawned on me, and here's what's fun, is when you start getting the maturity for you to see it real time. You know, they say hindsight's 20/20, right? Here's a cool thing, watching it happen in real time and ducking when the devil takes a swing at you, right? By putting all shields up when he tries to drop a bomb and throw a flaming arrow, right? You know, he shoots a missile at you, and you're like, no, I see your hypersonic missile coming at me. No, I'm doing this. And you got to be like, not today. And so there, you can start seeing the difference between when God is shaping you and you just got to keep doing the next right thing, or when the devil's attacking you and you say, no, devil, I am going to do the next right thing. I don't care how I feel. I'm going to do the next right thing.
I could be... this area, you know, is kind of it's a little blurry. I don't want to. I'm here to learn too. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't have me on this podcast because I know everything. We're just good buddies.
That's right.
So I'm here to learn too. You can help me out.
We're figuring crap out live.
Yeah. So, in my past time, Satan was a rule over my life. And, he did make a lot of calls. And then when I gave my life to Jesus, I took that away from him. And I let God and Jesus reign over my life.
Yeah.
And in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that Satan has that kind of power over me anymore.
Okay.
To ruin things like that.
He can certainly throw temptation and distraction at you.
So, for example,
pain and troubles.
I got this job. And, everything was great. The people were great, except for one guy.
Well, that was the dude I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. And so, he knows nothing about me. I'm just the new guy. He's been doing it for 40 years. He's one of those guys. It's fine.
He doesn't care. You're just the next guy.
Yeah. And so, he treated me a certain way. And for some reason, I rubbed him the wrong way. And I think I had maybe one conversation with him. And he just treated me like that from that point on. Mm-hmm. And, the whole time I'm around and I'm talking to him, I'm like, nice try.
Huh.
It's like, I can dodge.
Yeah.
I'm dodging and ducking because it's like, I see what this is.
Yeah.
It's a flaming arrow.
Yeah.
But I have a shield this time.
That's good.
And I think that kind of answers the question for me a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't give Satan that kind of power. I don't allow him to reign over my life like that. I'm protected by the blood of Jesus, and I live that every single day. And it's like, regardless of what kind of flaming arrow he wants to shoot at me or punch he wants to throw, it's like, I know what you're doing. It's not. I don't. A lot
of people see. I'm convinced that a lot of people. That's why I was talking about real time. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
They see what ends up happening is he makes an attack.
Yeah.
They crumble, right? Mm-hmm. They break down. They fall into some temptation or sin and or whatever it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then it's after the fact they look at it and go, "Oh my gosh, there was a satanic attack to mess me all up," and I took the bait, so to speak.
I agree. I think he baits you, but I think you can discern. You can be like, God's not going to pull you away from following or worshiping Him.
No.
And
he doesn't do that.
And it's like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm saying, I know you're present within this situation, and you're really trying to grind my gears here.
There is. I want to go back to this. The difference between doing the next right thing, whether it's a satanic attack or the discipline of God. Mm-hmm. The book of Hebrews puts it very bluntly. It says, you would be an illegitimate or not a child of God if he didn't discipline you. But every father disciplines his children. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but we later reap a harvest from that. And it's like, what does it look like in our lives when God is disciplining us? And then how
the amount of times I've sat and thought, man, my dad was right. Or man, my mom was right. It's like, it's so funny to me, like, now being 26.
Right.
I can remember you can relate now, you kids are teenagers, but, when I was that age, I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
And I had everything ready to go, and, I had all these plans, and I was ready for it. And now looking back at it, I can laugh. And I'm like,
right.
I'm such a dork, because it's not true.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, I don't know if it relates entirely, but I feel like that's that correction on the leash thing that God does. He's like, He'll let you think that you have the control that you think you have until you hit that wall and you're complaining that it hurts. You can't shoot yourself in the foot and then complain it hurts. Like, you made that choice to begin with.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I'm listening to you. I'm following you. I'm talking more about the discipline that where you're confident that God is doing something in your life to bring that necessary correction that you will go in the right way. And it isn't fun, and it's not pleasant, but it's ultimately good.
I relate to what is now happening in my life. I relate that to entirely.
What do you think God's doing?
I think I was tired of, being jobless for a little bit and praying and not feeling like anything was answered. And this falls in my lap. And so I felt like, for me, networking and trying to do this and that, like this was my thing. And I had a lot of pride in it and a lot of time, and I got it, and I think it was something that I wanted to do, but I don't think it necessarily correlated with who I am and what my strengths are. And I think he allowed me to make that mistake, to understand that it is a mistake. He allowed me, in life, pain will teach you more about anything than anything else.
It's a very good teacher.
Pain is the best teacher. And it's like, man, this entire thing that's going on with me right now, like, absolutely royally sucks. It put a big wrench in a lot of me and my wife's plans to do a lot of things. And it's like, I'm gonna look back at it in 5 years and laugh, because I have that faith that God's gonna change that.
Yeah.
So
you're accepting what God is doing in your life, and that's changing your mentality in terms of how you're processing it. I want to talk a little bit about what happens. You ever had where you don't want to do anything?
Every day.
What do you do to combat that? Because like you can talk about you don't just sit around and do. I mean, we have had times where we've been total couch potatoes.
Oh yeah.
And depressed to the point where you don't even want to lift the finger to press the remote control. Like, that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do to get yourself going, to do the next right thing, to walk the dog, to say thank you, to buy your wife something, to mow the yard, to get your butt out of bed?
I think, I went through a time in my life where, I was quitting smoking, getting over a bad relationship, taking in a bunch of different medications to try to figure stuff out, because I was, gaining 10 pounds a week. It was terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Wow.
I was on the couch, sweating and shaking. I couldn't move. The side effects of the medication were terrible.
Wow.
And, this happened it went for about 6 months trying to figure things out. And, my wife now, but my girlfriend at the time, she's working full time and taking care of me.
Wow.
Just so I can, pick up a spoon and put food in my mouth. It was terrible. And nobody really knows the level of how bad it was.
Wow.
And I don't have the words to explain, how terrible that is. People have gone through worse things, but in my life,
that's pretty bad.
In my life, that's the darkest it's been.
Right. And
when that was going on, I had the same mentality every day. It's like, oh, well, I'm expecting this. This is how I'm going to feel. It's terrible. I'm just going to let it happen. And looking back at it now, if I had the knowledge I do now about what was going on, I would have gotten up so much quicker and done things differently.
Yeah.
And made the necessary changes. And so it's like, when I get to that point when I'm like, being a couch potato and I have no motivation, I'm just depressed.
Right.
Because I'm jobless and I'm not providing anything. It's like, all right, this is the fork in the road. Are you going to be that guy? Or you're going to let God handle it?
Wow.
And I made that decision probably 2 weeks ago when we were talking. I was sitting on the couch and I was on my PlayStation playing some video game or something. I'm just sitting there and I was tired of myself. I'm like, really? It's been 4 days since you were let go, and now you're sitting, you're that guy again. That's you're falling into that pit again. You're just letting it happen because it's whatever. You're hurt.
Right.
You're mad. You're upset that it happened. I don't even care what happens anymore. I had those feelings come back again, I was like, no, not this time.
No, not gonna go there.
I was like, so what's the next right thing that I can do?
Yeah.
I got up, mowed the grass.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that, as soon as I got dressed, as soon as I got on the on the zero turn and I started mowing the grass, instant mentality change.
You were.
I was
you were
happy.
ready to, yeah.
Then my wife came home from work and we laid out in the hammock and I was reading the Bible.
Nice.
And it was just like,
It's
that's
a
never
beautiful
happened
day,
to me.
right? It's a
That's
beautiful
never
day.
happened.
Yeah, man.
I would have still been on that same couch doing the same thing that I was.
Yeah, there's two thoughts that I have in response to this. First is that there are things that we think are going to give us rest that do not.
Yeah.
And the second is that the proactivity of the mind and the proactivity of the body is exactly the way God made us. And so when we shift from the things that we're looking for the things that will give us rest or happiness or whatever we're after, they can't deliver, right? And then the other is to go do something in line. And I don't know, it's magical to me, I use that word lightly, how this works, but it's like, I resonated with what you were saying, because when I had open heart surgery,
That's a little bit different though than what
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that
You were talking about
the
weakness and not being able to do anything.
The result
Yeah.
was the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a point where my body was getting capable of doing things,
Yes.
but my mind had become a slave.
Yes.
And I would sit on the sofa watching YouTube videos endlessly. And my wife is like, "You don't even like what you're watching." And I was like, "You're right." And she's like, "Why are you doing it?" And she like walks up, and she didn't mean it in a nasty way.
Right.
I'm probably giving it too much emphasis. She's like, "Why are you doing it?" I'm like, and I realized that like I was looking to the next show or whatever to somehow bring me recuperation and rest. And like, no.
You've already had enough of that.
No, it can't deliver.
Right.
It can't deliver. Now, this could be true of even like dirty, nasty things like porn. Like people look at porn, or people drink, or forever eat too much. Like there are all kinds of addictions, right? That are cycles that we do to try to bring happiness into our life. They can't and don't deliver. They don't have the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
And there has to be this moment of clarity where we go, "What am I doing?" And like you get up and you go for a walk, or you get up and you clean the bathrooms, or you mow the yard, or like I had been delaying vacuuming my car or cleaning the garage, and you do these things, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's like energy begets energy.
Yep.
So that's the first bit, but the second bit is attached to the mentality. I'm reminded of what the Apostle Paul tells the Philippians in chapter 4. He says, if there's anything excellent, if there's anything praiseworthy, think about such things.
Yeah.
If you've seen anything in me that's good, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. And it's like, whoa. So I've got to think and I've got to act in line with God for his peace to be with me.
Yeah.
It's something like that. I'm not trying to like make a hard and fast line on this one, but I really think it's like, if you try to do things in your own energy and you try to like rest until you're recuperated, it won't work. But then if you act and think in line with what God wants, doing the next right thing, whatever it is, you can ask him, he'll show you. Yeah. Right? It's amazing how it works.
God, I'm tired of being on the couch and doing nothing.
Boom.
Give me something to do.
Boom.
Now, I call it the 50-50 thing.
The 50-50 thing. Let's talk about this.
So it's like, I kind of want to jump back just a tad bit on being the couch potato.
Sure.
And making that decision to hop on the zero turn. In retrospect, that's such a small decision. It means nothing, but it's the principle.
Dude, you could have stayed couch potato all day. There are people playing video games till 3 a.m. in the morning.
But for some reason, in my mind, that was one of the hardest decisions to make, because that's the deciding
factor. That was the Herculean leap.
Yes. That's all right, am I going to be this guy, or am I going to be this guy?
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
No. I'll never be that guy again.
But why do people want to be that guy?
Because
you wanted to be that
they
guy.
haven't
I
gotten on
wanted
the
to be
zero
that
turn.
guy.
They didn't get on the zero turn yet. That's all it takes.
Okay.
And it's not easy.
That's all it takes.
It's not easy.
Don't mow your yard.
And I'm not.
By the way, I'm so
wanna,
jealous of you have a zero turn. I'm like
it's not
plotting
even
it.
well.
I'm plotting it.
My mother-in-law just recently gave it to me, but it's hers.
Okay, fascinating.
And it's amazing. I'll never.
What kind is it?
It's a Cub Cadet.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're really
good.
They're good. I will never use a push mower ever again in my life. I don't care how big my yard is.
No, once you go zero turn, you can't go back. It's like forget it.
I can mow
it's like driving
an acre.
It's like driving an army tank for your yard.
Yeah, it's great.
Just defeats all enemies.
And I don't have to use any muscles.
Dude, talk to me about 50-50. We're digressing on zero turns.
So, God, give me something to do right now.
Okay.
Mow the grass. The other 50 is I need to get out, get on the zero turn, and mow the grass.
Okay.
That's that 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, finding that that motivation within yourself, that just that sick feeling of you're tired of constantly hitting
you're
this.
Tired of being tired.
Yes. My majority of my life before I can, when I can finally understand what depression is, and learn that I do possess that quality in me or that trait, it's like, all right, I have tried for years to figure out what is going to fix it. I've tried the diet, I've tried the exercise, I've done this, it's all just a simple decision up here. Get on the zero turn. Just do it. And I sat for probably about a half an hour going through the pros and cons of getting on the zero turn.
Right.
I don't want to get off the couch because it's nice in here, it's hot outside, I got the AC on.
Right.
Dogs are sleeping, I don't want to round them up.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the show, I don't want to leave it. I can just wait. There's 23 minutes left in the show. I can just watch it. And then when the show's over, I'm just gonna go to the next episode because I'm not,
Right.
Let me do one
more. Rolls. You get that 19 seconds till the next episode.
Yeah.
Clock,
Are you still watching?
Clock.
You know what? Yeah, I am.
Yes, I am
still watching. And I sat there, and there was just this physical feeling I had here. It's almost like anxiety. And it was so strange because I'm like, dude, it's mowing grass. Why is this such a hard decision for you? It's because I was comfortable doing this. This is what I know. I'm used to this.
Except you're miserable doing that.
Yes, but this is what I knew. This is what I've always known. This is that comfortable part of me where it's like, all right, I can be depressed, but I know this is what's going to make me feel better because this is the only thing I've done to make myself feel better.
Okay.
Had I known the hopping on the zero turn and the mowing would completely just disregard all of this and this is not a healthy way to handle it, I would have hopped on it years ago.
Oh wow.
Because I don't like sulking. I don't like being lazy. I don't like being...
It doesn't deliver the goods.
It doesn't. And it took me years to figure that out. Years. And
just freaking do it.
And so it took me a half an hour to get on that mower, and when I got on the mower I literally started it and turned it off and then wanted to go back inside.
Wow.
And as I'm walking to the door,
you're like, no, go do it.
And so then I go, to mow the lawn, and
this is a really cool blow by blow. This is good.
Yeah, this is a total just warfare in my brain.
Wow.
And nobody would know. You can look at me, I'm just a guy just mowing the lawn, but up here there's all this stuff going on. And I started mowing the lawn and the gas ran out. So when I went to go get the gas can's empty.
Oh, classic. That's really annoying.
What? Now I gotta get
annoying.
Now I gotta get in my truck.
You gotta go
drive
get gas.
To the gas station.
Oh, tons of fun.
Oh, I can go right back to the couch now. I'll just finish it tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Nope.
Wow.
I told my brain no.
Did you buy high test gas?
No, I just got 87. That's all you need. Right. You don't need a premium. And
some people buy high test so that it doesn't gum up or something.
Nah.
All right, enough of that.
Put jet fuel in it. But,
okay.
No.
Kerosene,
so I was gonna go on a rabbit hole there. I'm gonna forget that.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's keep going.
So
stay on target.
Gas ran out. Gas can's empty.
Yeah.
Here's the next fork in the road. Am I gonna be that guy again? Because I did do what I wanted to do. I mowed the grass, but now I didn't finish it. And I've been notorious my entire life for starting something and never finishing it.
Yeah.
And so, am I gonna be that guy that, all right, well I mowed it. It looks good in the back, but I haven't started on the front yet. Actually, no, I did 2 lanes in the front. This is when my wife got home.
Yeah.
So I had 2 lanes in the front. The entire back was finished.
All right.
So now, what am I gonna do?
Well, you better finish the front.
Well,
Girlfriend's home too.
I literally thought, I'll just finish it tomorrow because it's not gonna rain or anything. So then I wanted to park it back in the shed, but then I was like, no. This is that comfortable. I felt like mentally my brain wanted to be back in the couch, because that is where I have identified my safe space, as people want to call it now. That is where I can be myself.
Your safe space.
You know what I mean, though.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it.
You keep telling yourself that, bro.
Yeah. But like that's what I've come to know the most. That's where I can feel like I don't have to think about anything. I can just be a robot, turn on the TV, and forget. That's my escapism from everything. And as soon as I had that thought, I went to the gas station instead. And it was like, I was proud of myself, because like,
you should be.
Like,
Did you see the building in the story?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's people who's watching this, and just for our own benefit, actually, it's like sometimes the greatest advancements are the little steps. This is why we do the next right thing. So you did the next right thing. You got up off your duff. You went and started the mower. Then you shut it off. You walked away, and you're like,
No, it shut off.
Oh, it shut off.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the yard. Yeah.
Okay, it shut off. So then you
Wait.
No, the first time you shut it off and walked away.
No.
Then
Yes.
then it ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Then you had the 2 lanes out front. But I'm seeing building. So it's like you start with the next right thing, and it's tiny.
Yeah.
It's like so tiny. It could be as tiny as like, I'm gonna get up and set the table.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna
do the dishes.
Or refuse to let a negative thought rule your day, and do the 5 things, like 5 things you're thankful for. That's like a rule in our house. When people are getting crabby and itchy, we say, what are the 5? We do 5 things. And of course, no one likes the 5 things. That's what's so funny about it. It sounds really nice, like, oh, 5 happy things, 5 great things you're thankful for.
My wife
No, you're like...
My wife used to make me look in a mirror and say 3 nice things about myself because I hated how I looked.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
And looking back on it now, she's doing the same thing that I was doing mowing. It's that Herculean jump.
You have to do it.
You have to.
You have to.
And once you finally just suck it up and do it, you'd be surprised at how
it's monumental.
And the whole time I'm mowing this yard and doing all of these things and fighting myself, I'm just picturing God up there just...
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
He's like good
yes,
job.
Finally.
Well
you're
done.
doing what you're supposed to do.
Amen.
This isn't something massive. This isn't something extravagant. This isn't
right,
important.
Right.
This isn't a life-altering thing. This is just the next right thing.
Sweet.
That's all it is. It's get off your butt and mow the grass. You'd be surprised at how you feel. I didn't want to get... The next day was I actually texted you a picture yesterday. The next right thing. I was sitting there on the couch doing the same thing, and I was actually getting bored. Sitting there watching TV. I had my laptop in my lap, the dog is sitting next to me, the TV's going, and I'm like, man, it's nice out. I'm alright. Then I looked at it again and I opened the window. I could feel it. I'm like, oh man, it's nice. Then I just so happened to catch a glance of my bike, because I have my bicycle in the room right next to the kitchen, so I can see the tire hanging out. It's just perfect placement. I saw it.
So like, okay.
I was like, God, is this what you want me to do?
Yeah.
He's like, yep.
Go for a bike ride.
So I just got up, got dressed, got on my bike, and went on a ride.
Right.
Total mental clarity.
Yep.
And then I got back, straightened up the house, did the laundry, did the dishes, vacuuming, which I never do.
Dude, vacuuming.
Yep. Then
Dude, you know what I won't do?
What?
I don't dust. Because dust we came from and dust will return. I don't dust.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to use that. But it's like, I almost enjoy this, like, this rut. This thing where I love this fork in the road. I love being the one to decide what kind of person am I going to be today. And it's like I've found through this entire little journey of mine, these little things that mean nothing, but to me they're huge, is where I find God the most recently. It's like I find that I communicate with him more than I used to, because it's like, hey man, I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of just sitting here. I have a job currently. I don't have anything to like necessarily look forward to other than my wife coming home, and you know, like that's 6 hours from now give me something.
Yeah.
Because I'm going crazy. I'm getting stir crazy. And he gives it to me, and like I just had this like peace, and it's like I can, you know, the whole bike ride I was riding, I was praying the entire time, just
Nice.
talking. People were probably looking at me like I was crazy, like I was talking to myself, but I wasn't. And it's like, just get on the mower. Just, it's such a hard thing to do, and it takes more energy. And I'm not going to take away from anybody. Depression is real.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. It is extremely hard to overcome. And I haven't overcome it. I've just found something that makes me feel better.
You're working it through.
Working it through.
Wow,
and,
that's awesome.
And I don't think I'll ever have the answer to it. I just think that's something that he's going to solve. And that's not something I have the reins to. And I think he's taken me through the journey to figure something out.
Wow.
He's like, hey, I'm putting you through this tough point, but I'm going to show you how you get over it. Because I haven't shown you that yet.
Wow.
And that's just how I'm going to go about it. That's what I believe, and you know, that's what I think God's doing. He's like, hey man, this is a tough point, but I want to show you something about yourself. That you can go through it, because I genuinely believe in your heart you do not want to be depressed anymore.
No, you don't.
And I don't.
And you've done the right thing.
Yep, the next right thing.
This is a great stopping point.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
The rubber met the
All
road.
right. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you stopping by and joining us on the Bridgepoint YouTube podcast show. If you like this, please always remember, share, like, and subscribe. Till the next time we get together, keep your eyes on Jesus.
One more thing, too.
Oh, one more thing.
One more thing.
Okay.
If any of you guys are feeling depressed out there and you need somebody to talk to, feel free to leave comments, or you know, or talk to anybody.
And we'll answer them.
One of the most important things I've found in my life when you're feeling depressed is community. Having somebody to talk to, somebody just to bounce ideas off of. You know, being isolated by yourself on the couch, pondering the mower is the worst position to be in.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, talking to Matt, he gave me a good sword to swing when I'm feeling this way, and it's changed my life entirely. But yeah, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling, you know, like you're, you know, hating yourself, talk to somebody.
Yep, we're here. Leave us a line.
Yeah.
We'll get in touch with you.
Anyway.
All right, till next time. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Let's follow him together. Amen.
Peace.
Yep. Bye.